Okay, it looks like we are live. Let me make sure. Let me check it. There we are. Keep it on my phone. There we are. Great. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just make this smaller. Great. I am so excited to be here today. I'm Brenda Edelman, and this is the very first episode of my brand new signature show, Tell Your Secrets on Stage. And I'm here with one of my clients, Susan Gala. Since this is the first show, I want to just do an introduction of myself, and then I will introduce my guest. So let's see if I can do this without talking about myself in the third person. I am a speaker, coach, digital course creator with a critically acclaimed one-woman show called My Brooklyn Hamlet, which is based on my life and the power of forgiving the unforgivable. In 1995, my father shot and killed my mom, and within months moved in with and then married my aunt, my mother's sister, before going to prison. That was in 1995, and it was in healing this secret to the very core and then sharing it over the years that I have healed myself and have contributed to healing tens of thousands of other people, mostly through my one-woman show that I've performed all over the world. I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology. I was honored to receive a Hero of Forgiveness Award from the Hawaii International Forgiveness Project. I have performed my show and keynoted for over 12,000 people in 4 countries and 10 states when we used to be able to travel live all over the place. And hopefully I'll add more places to that. And I've also helped develop and direct over 150 short TED-style talks and one-person shows, in addition to full-length shows and keynote presentations. I have a membership called Soul Story Lounge that connects storytelling with healing and presentation. And I believe that healing our secrets and then sharing them powerfully is my way that I can contribute to healing the world, making it a better place right now through authentic connection, stepping into our power. I help my clients share their stories confidently and unapologetically in a way that grows their business if they are in business, on stage, on video, and interviews. Otherwise, clients come to me for healing. I happen to have a fantastic event happening this week called Storypalooza, where I'm going to have a 2-day event completely free to help you find the right story to tell, heal from your story, and also how to tell your story in a way that is captivating to your audiences. That's a two-day free event on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. I'm also giving away a ticket completely free to see the 15-minute version of my one-woman show on Zoom on Wednesday. And there's going to be a way for those who sign up for Storypalooza to go live in my free group on Thursday and Friday. I have the sign up for that. I will put below on Facebook. And I am here honored to be interviewing Susan for this first inaugural episode. Let me read from her bio. She is a feminine wisdom teacher. She created a process to help women awaken their feminine energy and unveil their magic that lives within their womb. It's an embodied approach that evokes creativity, confidence, and presence. This work supports women in their personal, intimate, and business relationships. And when women reclaim their body wisdom, they co-create more joy and spirit in their lives and community. And she has a free guide for you called Wake Up Your Feminine Energy. Susan! I'm very, very, very proud and honored to have you here as my first guest. Welcome.
Thank you. So am I. I'm just really blessed. Maybe it is a New York thing. I don't know. But I really think that it's also timing. The energy is saying, go. The world needs healing. Our cities need healing. Our country needs healing.
Yes, it's true. And, you found your way to me. I can't even remember how you found your way to me, actually. Do you remember? I think you mentioned.
Did you have a challenge, like a 5-day challenge? And I actually did a live. I told my story. I cannot believe it. Within 5 minutes.
I did. That was
Yes.
earlier this year. So it was this year.
Yes, yes. A couple of months ago.
That's so cool. That's so cool because I'm going to be allowing people to tell their stories in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I had the open mic. Right. I'm
Yes.
so excited that you're here and also that you're going to be creating a show, right? Because I work with people to create shows, writing their books, doing interviews, and you have started doing interviews so that you could share your message.
Yes. Yes, it's very powerful. Like I said, I think it's timing. I remember sharing my story a while ago. I think I started sharing it about 13 years ago, and it was not a healthy experience for me. I'm sharing it now, and it's really changed, but I have to be honest with you, Brenda. Support is everything. You are so loving. You are so kind. And I'm able to just talk. And I feel like this part of me, this creative part of me, like I am no actor, but what's coming out of me with my story, to me, it's so empowering in a different way. I'm actually enjoying creating the scenes right now. I never thought I would. I'm not the greatest writer, but I could talk about it. I feel really fulfilled talking about it. So energizing.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I love about working with you and working with so many people who finally come to me. It's like they think there's one way to share your story and it's write it down, but there's something that is unlocked in our soul when we share it in a way that we all know. We all know how to talk. We all know how to talk,
yes.
That's I always feel honored when I realize that people have wanted to tell their story for a very, very long time. And then they come to me and there's something, I'm just doing it, but there's something I'm doing that's allowing for that freshness and fun, not like fun, like, oh, this is a tragic thing and oh, it's so fun, but like the fun of self-expression, the fun of like, I have a voice, Do you want to?
Well, that's what it is. It's very artistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, I learned the hard way because I shared it wrong. I will say it's wrong. Like some people don't like to say things are wrong or right, but I say when I started sharing so many years ago, over 15 years ago is when I started, it was wrong in that I hadn't done the inner work. And so while I could write a joke as an actress, I'd done enough scenes, I'm a comedic actress, and I could, act well. So people were captivated. I felt like crap after because I hadn't done the inner work. Mm. And like literally so crappy, like I would tell this story. And while the ending of my show at the time was, will I ever love and trust again? And I believe I wrote that into my life. A lot of my teaching is like, get your message so that you're writing your empowerment into your life. I would go home and literally be suicidal, like, because I was not talking to my dad, I wasn't healed. And I was like, why am I doing this? If I feel like the audience is happy and then I feel like crap afterwards. And so it's really important for me to teach that you can share your story, share your vulnerable story. Yes, I agree with what so many people, but do it in a way that you do your inner child work, or you do your work so that when you're putting so much energy out there and you're being so vulnerable, you're also taking care of yourself afterwards, right? And yeah, I mean.
Well, you know what I'm learning from this too? There's so much self-love.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's that hidden secret.
Yeah.
And what we're sharing is not a secret anymore.
I love that. It's like the secret is the self-love that's like locked inside what we're keeping a secret. I love that so much. Then you're making me cry because we hold these things out because we feel shame or we feel guilt or we're just taught never to speak up or afraid this person's going to be angry at us instead of like witnessing what we've been through for ourselves.
Right. Like people say, oh, you can't say that. Why not? It's like no one has walked in these bodies or in our shoes. No one is living in this body but us.
Right? Right. So how can they say what we should or shouldn't do? And that's like a big thing. When I'm doing Storypalooza this weekend, for people who are watching live, that will be the correct date and time. You know, it's this Wednesday when I'm teaching. Day one, I'm going to teach a lot about that. The fact that we're so caught up in what other people say we should or shouldn't do, oftentimes from being in a family that was toxic or people who have hurt us that don't want the story to come out. And of course, the way I teach, and I hope it's what you get, we're kind of in the middle of working together, is that I'm not teaching to vilify. I'm not teaching tell about those bad people. It's not that at all, but it's being truthful so that you can take your power back from these people, these characters in our life that probably took our power from us because we were young enough, you know, or not conscious enough to know that that was happening, you know?
Yeah.
We do have a few people watching. Say hello if you're here. First episode of this. So I'm gonna thank you everyone for being supportive of this. This is my first episode. Partly I decided to do it this week when it's such a busy week because I wanted to do what I teach my clients, which is definitely done is better than perfect. And our stories, these stories, it's more important to get this out than for me to want to get it perfect. And like, I've got my logo, I've got everything, I've got my sound better. It's a little echoey, I know. I also want to step up and be more courageous and reach more people this year. You know, I had a death in my family just recently, and it really opens my eyes to like, well, I've been thinking about having a platform for my clients foremost, and then for other people who have stories to share that will help people. I've been thinking about it for such a long time, and it was never like, yes, it was like kind of starting and stopping. And I always want to model for the people that I work with to just go for it and then get the support you need to be consistent with what you're doing. So we're working on your one-woman show, but talk a little bit about, since this is Tell Your Secrets on Stage, what you're comfortable with. Tell a little bit about, you know, what your show is going to be about and what you do, because you've done Sacred Circles for a long time, and about this power of the womb energy. It's so beautiful.
Yes. So my story, yes, I'm going to reveal it. I think it's a very empowering story. And yes, it was a tragedy, but it's no longer a tragedy. It's actually, I say, it's a treasure. My story gifted me a treasure.
Wow, tragedy to treasure.
Yes, yes, that is what has happened. So I moved to New York City the day after high school. Imagine that. 18 years old, wandering around in New York City, but I was attending FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology. And I became a luxury lingerie designer while I was actually in school. I know.
It's great. It's so amazing. I love, because I have all these references being from New York, and I had friends that went to FIT. Like, I know what that means. Yeah. Yeah.
I had such an incredible lifestyle, such an incredible experience designing, that within 3 years, I was asked to design private label for Victoria's Secret catalog. So if any of you remember that, this goes back into the 70s. So this was back in the 70s. So I was quite busy with my profession, very creative. I loved it. There was so much creativity around me, not only with my studio, but also the people around me. And I was married I got married young, and we lived in a loft in Chelsea. And we also had a country home. So my ex-husband spent a lot of time in the country home. I spent a lot of time in the city. And we usually entertained a lot. So one week we had company and I was exhausted. So I just wanted to leave my studio early that day. And I came back home and I said, I'm just going to go to sleep. I just want to go to sleep and not wake up until tomorrow because I needed to rest. And in the middle of the night, I heard a huge bang, more like a crash, like something fell to the floor. So I woke up and I walked into the kitchen to see 4 men and 1 woman looking at me. And I looked and we were all like looking at each other. And as fearful as I was, I don't really think I showed it, but they did. They were very scattered, they were very scary. They were probably high on something, as far as I know. I don't know, but I stood there for a second and I looked at them and I said, please don't kill me. I will give you whatever you want. And as I was saying that, I actually felt like I was held by something, a light, a higher power, God, goddess. Well, one man came behind me and put his hands at my throat and put a knife there. While the others scattered around, it was, very quick. I don't even know how fast. It was almost like the blink of an eye. Everything happened. Everyone disappeared. And I woke up the next day in my bed naked. So, yes, rape can create, I'm going to say it this way, create havoc within your body. So I'm just talking about a woman right now. I know men have been raped also. Our body is physical, energetic, emotional, and spiritual. We hold that sacred source of power in our womb energy, which is the creative center. The creative, it's where we birth. It's where the seed was once planted. Our birth in energy, but it's also where we birth new projects. It's our creativity, our sexuality, our sensuality. It's the home of the sacral chakra. Our self-expression is right there. Our abundance is there. When we're shut down by trauma, I don't mean just physical trauma, rape or emotional trauma. I'm talking about it could happen with environmental trauma also, meaning what's happening in the world with floods and tornadoes and hurricanes, or the climate of our world right now with what's happening with the different energies. I think you understand that. I don't go into it, but I'm just saying that is trauma. And what happens is we hold that tension and that disconnect and that shame in our portal. And I have studied a lot about womb energy healing, womb energetics. I'm certified in a lot of this different type of work, womb resonance, womb healing, along with being a licensed massage therapist. And I've taught Pilates for now going on 24 years. I can't believe it. But 24 years ago, almost 30 years ago, I became a licensed massage therapist. So I knew a lot about the body internally and externally, but more so, it's the emotional body, it's the spiritual body, the energetic body that really matters to us.
Right.
So, I say when we could come home to our truth, that's when we could heal. We are the only ones that have the power to do that. And that's by listening, understanding your intuition, which is basically your feminine energy. And that's what I teach. I teach you to drop into all of you in full expression.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's why I'm so excited to work with you, because I think even for myself, one of the things that was lacking in all the healing that I've done is this physical stuff too, and the physicality of the energetic too. Like your work is so incredible. And Let me ask you something, since this is Tell Your Secrets on Stage, because you just shared that so beautifully and with such an empowerment. Can you just share a moment with the audience, because I really want to inspire people, let them know how hard that was for you to say at first, or even to like us starting to work together to hear all this, you know? Like, can you just share a little bit, not going into the pain of it, but like maybe how you know, like what was the process like for you to be like, oh, I can share this now, you know?
Brenda, I have to say it was you. I have shared my story in 2 other coaching programs. I know I'm going to cry.
You just did it.
I was shamed.
I tell people all
I
the
was
time,
shamed and I was called names. I was called a victim. You're just a victim. Shut up.
it's just shocking to me in a coaching
Yes.
that they would do.
And that reminded me of when this happened to me. And the next day, I called up my parents, and my mother says to me, "You live in a very dangerous city. You need to move." And that was it. I had no support. No support. I have support now from this incredible woman that I'm looking at right now, Brenda. I can tell Brenda anything. It's kind and loving. And I will tell you, it has been very hard for me to say the word rape.
Yeah.
I don't use that word. I haven't used that word because of what I've been called.
Wow.
But I'm not a victim.
No, you're not a victim. Thing here. That's so powerful. It's so powerful. And I feel so grateful. And also, you know, this is just bringing to mind why this show is so important for me, because, you know, I hear stories like this and I'm just baffled that, you know, so many people, coaches, big coaches sometimes, are not in touch with their emotional body, which is where the healing takes place.
Right.
And I think I'm so driven to teach this work. And it's part of the reason why I started, you know, I've been coaching about helping people with their stories and on video since 2014, but for 10 years, 9 years before that, I was coaching on forgiveness. And I became a coach specializing on that because nobody could hold for the vast amount of emotions I had when I was going through my stuff. And I was a victim. So I was like, you know, part one of my forgiveness process is actually embracing the victim so that you can let go of it, you know? So for people to say that, that's so, it's, you know, you can't, like, of course, the bigger picture is never stay a victim because you're not empowered.
Right.
But you have to not squash it down. You have to actually face it full on in a healthy way so that you can release it. I'm very sorry that you had that experience. And I think what happens is these coaches, they try to access you out of your emotions, you know, instead of knowing that is where the healing takes place. And of course, calling someone a victim without backing it up and giving like context and giving, you know, tools is just, it's very sad. It's very sad to me. I am glad that you found me. I'm very grateful for all of my clients who have found me, because I think just while all our stories are so different, the depth of what we've been through is the same, or the connection. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Right, you just said the connection. So right now we have an incredible energetic connection going on talking about this, right?
Yes.
As we heal, as a society, as we heal, that energetic energy will flow through our communities and out into the world.
I love that.
Yes, so it's important for, well, I talk about women because I work with women. It's important for women to connect and gather and be in circles, because a lot of healing comes from circles also.
Yeah, and the witnessing.
But it's exactly what you're talking about too, that we need to heal. We need to tell our stories.
Yes, and from a place of holding things up. So one of the things I love about Soul Story Lounge, which you are in as well, which is my membership community, is everybody holds for each other to just see where you are. Like, there are people who don't like social media. I'm like, I actually love social media because I have the most amazing people, and it's my job, I feel like, as a facilitator, to hold the energy so that we move through the ups, the downs, just being real instead of always being like, everything's amazing when we live in a world like this, but we're trying to make it
Right. But the nice thing about it is we all listen and we lift each other up, no matter what we're going through, because we can be real.
Exactly. So there are a few people here. Let's see. Mary Fran says hi. She's a guest on episode 2. MJ is here hi, it's so great to see you. She is so excited to catch us live. What a blessing. Kirsten also says hello. Wonderful. Great. Well, I want to keep this to 30 minutes. So is there anything else that you would like to share? Like, how about this? And of course, this is episode 1, so I'm still developing my questions, but what would you share with the audience about their secrets? Like what they could do to be empowered maybe by them or something like that?
I would have to say is come home to your body and be very conscious of it and listen, because the secrets live inside of you, but energetically you could feel the sensations. Okay. So you may feel tightness in your hips. You may feel tightness in your lower back. You may feel tightness in your psoas, which is the front muscle, the very high hip flexor muscle. That all has to do with female energy. So I'm talking about female energy right now. When we're holding that tension, we become disconnected from our body. So take a few moments, maybe have a seat in the morning, just be still. Maybe place your hands on your womb, especially one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb, because your heart and your womb are connected to each other. And just be still and listen to your breath. Is your breath soft? Is your breath shallow? Do you feel like your breath is congested? So it's the tuning in to what may be going on in your body.
What do you do if your breath is, let's say, congested or?
Okay, so there's a type of breathing exercise that I love to do, okay? It's called a diaphragmatic breathing method, where on your inhale, those of you that are actors and singers would know about it, but I'm going to add a little bit to it and help you understand the diaphragm and its play with your root muscles. Okay, so on the inhale, we keep the chest very quiet, meaning that on the inhale, we're not going to do this. Okay, on the inhale, I want you to close your eyes and allow your belly to bloom. As your belly is blooming, imagine it's that big red rose that's in my background right here, right? As it's blooming, your root muscles also get activated and open a little bit, because on the inhale, your diaphragm drops down, not on top of the pelvic floor, but towards the pelvic floor, allows your belly to bloom and opens up your root muscles.
I feel great already.
Yes. And while we're doing that, so I add a little bit more, I'm looking at the time also. And while we're doing that, I'd like you to imagine that you are lifting up off of or floating on your sits bones, which are your sitting bones, right? Imagine that you're light now, you're not heavy anymore. Imagine that you're weightless. So you could practice these exercises in a quiet place in the morning. You could do this seated, so you could feel that you weight down on your pelvis, and remember that your root muscles are inside your pelvis. And who wants to be sitting on that? Who wants that part of our bodies congested? We want to feel sensual and flowy and feminine and watery.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that was such a simple exercise. And
Yes.
literally, I do not feel heavy anymore. Like I feel like I'm lifted to the heavens, you know? Yeah. Wow. That is, I feel light in my body, like so much spaciousness. Talk about like immediate gratification. That was so great. All right, let's see. Mary Friend says, great story, Susan. And then MJ says, there's something empowering hearing self tell the story due to the release. We no longer feel held down by the story. Being intentional to not accept any judgment is healing, giving and accepting grace. Thank you for your story, Susan.
Oh,
Beautiful.
thank you. Thank you for listening and being here.
And MJ is actually going to be a guest inside Soul Story Lounge, teaching on Facebook pretty soon, next month. How fantastic. Wow, Susan, that was so incredible to leave us with too. I am so inspired by you. I am so honored to be working with you on your live presentation because it's going to just be phenomenal, because you're also this movement specialist and this artist and this, you know, womb healer and feminine presence. It's going to be so fantastic and healing and entertaining and deep. Yes. Like, oh, what a great alchemy of things. All right, and I'm going to post the link for how people can get your gift, and yes. I'll post the link to Storypalooza for those of you who are watching this live and seeing it this week. Do you want to just say your website or the name of your business or something so that it's on this video too?
Yes, Feminine Soul Alchemy. You Great. Could reach me on Facebook, which is really the best place to reach me. Friend me, send me a private message, and I'll get back to you ASAP.
Okay, great. And MJ says, just looking forward to it. Thanks, Brenda. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any comments, questions for her or I, just leave it at the bottom of this. I will be reposting it on in Soul Story Tribe, my free group, and also on YouTube. Be bold, be brave, and tell your story.